All right, well, good afternoon and welcome to the breakout sessions. Everybody having a good time so far? And you even had time for lunch, how about that? For a shake at least. And I want to thank you all for being with us. Congratulations on all the recognition. You know this panel is here for a reason. They got number one on each, wow, this is a really cool panel. This one, we got number ones on each end, bookends on the panel. And solid all the way through. Okay, so we're going to start with number one world team, Leslie Hansen. Y'all, let's give it up for Leslie here. So, Leslie, let's start with your former profession, where you're from, how many years with NeoLife, and why don't you give us your quick story. I want to focus on business building tips. Okay, I really want to focus on that, what you're doing, how you're building the business. But I know there's people who haven't really had a chance to hear your story, so why don't you tell the less than 2-minute story?
Oh, any testimony stuff? Or
no, let's not get into testimony, unless it's yours, part of your story.
Oh,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I'm Leslie Hansen from Veneta, Oregon. I graduated from college as a high school chemistry teacher, but that classroom setting was mind-boggling. So I only substitute taught, started having kids, and thought, this is what I was made for. So I started NeoLife when Gina, who's our new world team member, was 3 months old. Went to talk to Earl and Lucy Pearson, and he said, this is a good business. And I thought, no. I am a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to do business. Well, I had some things go away and get better, and I thought, I got to tell my sister. And then I got to tell my best friend. After about 8 or 9 months, I had 30 we didn't have members then. We only had promoters. And I told Wayne, this is getting too big, and you need to come home and help me. We had reached director by then, 4,000 PV back then. And he was painting cars. And we just sort of started taking off. And the thing I loved about it, still being a stay-at-home mom, I did end up having 7 kids, and we homeschooled for 30 years, is nobody could ever fire me. I didn't have to ask for vacations. And so we've been, going like that. But when our daughter started taking off, it was like, Wayne made that little comment on stage a little bit ago. He was competing with her. He goes, our PV is staying bigger than hers. So it's been back and forth, but of course, both of us keep growing at the same time. Both of us grow together at the same time. And it's been so awesome having Tony and Gina with us in Maui and coming to the conventions. And then we had, various ones of our kids. Our oldest daughter just happened to come this time. And she's asking questions, and we're going, come on, Tanya, come over here, watch Gina, So it's pretty exciting.
That's awesome. How many of you would like to have your wife retire you? That sounds pretty cool, huh? All right, we'll go down to Chelsea. So, Chelsea, where are you from? What's your name? How many years with NeoLife? Why are you excited?
So I am excited because I really got to experience something I think phenomenal the past 4 years. I am naturally an introvert. I'm actually kind of shaking up here. I don't know why. Maybe because Josh is interviewing me. And he knows the questions to ask. But anyways, when we moved to a new state, California, I didn't know a soul there except our corporate NeoLife family. And why I'm excited is because I saw, even implemented again, what we saw back at home, the opportunity we have to not only provide like this hope, provide a vision, but by the time I had been in San Jose just a couple months, I had made so many friends because of NeoLife. Because it was just like Kendra said earlier, you have people who want to rub that pregnancy belly of hope and vision and everything. And so it's like I got to build this community from scratch of people that were like-minded. And I was able to build a huge leg in San Jose that when now we're moving back to Georgia and coming back to our Georgia family, but being able to leave something that is so powerful, a whole community, and it's of families, but a lot of moms who just needed hope. And that is actually a city that people don't connect. So it's a fun challenge. So that's what I'm excited about the future, because I saw it over and over again there. We have an opportunity to connect with others, provide hope, and build this whole culture around us of vision, hope, health, wellness, all the things people are hungry for. And that is why I'm so excited, and just to see us head into the next 60 years. So
cool. Next question for her is going to be follow-up when we come back through. So how did you start from scratch and build it? We're going to get into the nuts and bolts. Okay, we'll go to Sandra Friesen, though. So Sandra, again, congrats on, top 10. And so where are you from? Name, former occupation?
Okay.
Your quick story.
My name is Sandy Friesen, and my formal name is Sandra, but you can call me Sandy. Anyway, from Fresno, California, and my careers have been, I'm a hairdresser. I was a hairdresser, and then retired from that, raised my family. I was a stay-at-home mom, and then I went into my husband's business, custom kitchens, and I helped network on the phones. And so I was there for quite a while until that's right. Then I retired from that and became grandma, helping my kids' kids. And then along came NeoLife. And it's something I never expected to be doing and being in this business. But God just sort of orchestrated it.
That's awesome. Isn't that neat to think, there's a lot of people out there who don't even know they're looking for this, but they are, and you're going to help them discover that, right? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Marilee, how many children do you have? Where are you from?
Okay. You messed up my story. No, I'm just kidding. I have 9 children, and I'm from Bend, Oregon, but my story was going to start long ago. I graduated from college with an accounting degree, and I was a school teacher before I met my husband, Dwight, who I married into the NeoLife family. He was already building a wonderful NeoLife business when we got married. So I've had to learn a lot from the ground up just joining him. But, what else did you ask?
Dwight got very distracted by the beauty he found all those years ago. Is that right? Very distracted, and we didn't see him for a long time.
I know, that's right. We met you guys, and we were in Atlanta at the convention right after our marriage, and then we ended up spending the next 10 to 14 years raising a family, and we've just been getting back into NeoLife over the last couple years. But honestly, it's been a blessing to have had NeoLife support us our entire marriage. And as a newlywed couple, we made thousands of dollars every month. It was a blessing. And we've been able to support our family, and we continue to support our family. And Dwight is a serial entrepreneur, and he has started other businesses as well, and I'm his right-hand girl. But it is wonderful to be supported financially with NeoLife and also nutritionally. He and I both have taken the products for years, ever since he started back in 2001, and we've had 9 very healthy, wonderful pregnancies and been supported as well through all that. So very blessed by NeoLife.
So Louie Smith, of course, needs no introduction, our newest diamond in the U.S., #1 international presence team. We heard a little bit of your story the other day, but there's always new fun parts to hear about your exciting journey through the years. So why don't you give a little introduction, and I'll let you decide how you want to do that.
All right, real quick. So I'm a businessman. When I saw NeoLife, we had 200 staff working for us. We had 4 companies in 3 different countries. We had a cartage company, long-distance 18-wheeler haulers. We had a brick manufacturing company. We had an engineering company, and we had a farming company. And when God showed us this incredible opportunity, I always related to this way, that I didn't realize he was sending the man around with a rowboat, because the story when the flood comes up and you pray, Lord, please save us. Well, it was not long after we saw this opportunity that they burnt down all of our companies in the one country, because which that was where our engineering and a steel building company was. We had all these electronic lathes and milling machines, everything like that, and was not insured for political riot, and that was not in South Africa. It was a company in Southern Africa called the Ciskei, and I remember the police phoned us one morning and just said, "Don't come in, they're burning the whole place down." The whole city was being burnt to the ground. And it wasn't long after that I got a phone call from another country where our cottage company is operating, and they phoned and they said, "Do you have these two trucks?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, they just collided with each other. Now, what possibility is two of your own trucks colliding and they're both written off?" And it was only about 5 days later that one of our long-distance trucks was going to market in another part of South Africa, and he had a big trailer behind this enormous big rig, and he had been sleeping with his girlfriend along the road, but he had to make market by a certain time. Otherwise, they'd be in Africa. You harvest tomatoes on Monday. If they don't get to market before 4 o'clock in the morning, they trash the shipment, because they've only got a 5-day shelf life. Not like in America, tomatoes have got a 2-year shelf life. Anyway, so nearly. So anyway, he tried to make up some time and went down this long cutting, didn't put on, change the gears down, and he lost control, and he went through customs as he was crossing the borders. And he wrote off I think it was about 9 or 10 vehicles besides the one he was driving. He couldn't stop in time, and he went through the customs, and he just wrote off all these vehicles parked at customs. By the end of that, so that means we had written off 11 vehicles in 2 weeks, and insurance was really excited about us, and they canceled us. And from there, it was just a downward spiral. But you see what happened is God had sent somebody across our path. I went to this church service, Laverne and I, and the pastor had prophesied that we're going to touch people around the world, that miracles are going to happen, and our business is just going to explode globally. At that time, we hadn't really heard about NeoLife. We were just in that throes of coming to know it, and we had taken NeoLife to our church, and they said, "Don't touch it. It's a scam. It's not going to work. It's a pyramid," all this kind of stuff. It's new age, all that kind of stuff. So, and we were leaders in the church, and so how do you run a business when that's what the church was saying? We said, "Well, we've got this prophecy in this church. Maybe it's NeoLife." And the pastor said, no, they sent out church buses, prayer buses onto our farm to pray for the tomatoes, because we were one of the biggest tomato farmers in the areas, to protect us. And the more they prayed, the more it went wrong. And God was directing us. Don't fight God when He gives you a great opportunity. Anyway, we went along to this event. I wanted to check this thing out, so I went to a few events. And one of the first events I went to, the then Vice President of Africa, I think that's what his title was, stood on stage and said that this business is based on integrity and honesty, on love, on serving, on kindness, on do unto others as you'll be done by, on uplifting and being a difference makers in other people's lives. And I sat there with my wife and I said, "Oh my goodness gracious, if this is true, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't care what anybody's saying. Nobody can rock my ship if what this man is saying is true." And it was, and I'm excited about it.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Louie. All right, we'll pass it back down and come back to Leslie. And now I want to get into, what are you doing to build your business? How many of you want to know that? You know, you're on stage, you're number one, great things are happening. What are you doing?
Well, the success tracker. I am a person that, because of the book we're reading now, Your Best Year Ever, my statement is not, "I'm so disorganized." It's, "I am getting complete control of every area of my life." And I'm saying that, and I have it written down. So one of the things I did is I took the 4 categories that vary, you know, how many presentations you do, how many team people you talk to, how many prospects you follow up with, and how many you invite to watch a presentation, a meeting, whatever. And I know I have to get 3 of those, and 5 of those, and 5 of those, and 2 of those every day to reach the maximum. And sometimes, I go way over, sometimes I'm low, but that is keeping me accountable. And then he calls us every week, and we have to report in, and it's so good. And so we're calling a lot more people. We're keeping track of a lot more people. We're getting back with our team members. We have 2 that are definitely building right now. And so Bob's always, you're going to be one Ruby pretty soon. And so, but I just talk to people everywhere we go. And because of the program now, Wayne, I notice, is getting way more bold. So he's talking to people all over the place. And it's just amazing to watch. And it's just, I don't know, it's like new life got breathed into us. Mm-hmm. So anything else?
Yeah. Why don't you give us a specific story of somebody you've just been talking with that you talked about your success tracker, and her success tracker is, every week you're filling it out. That means the 3 daily, by the way, success tracker measures the 3 daily success habits. Number 1, use the products. You guys check, right? Number 2, share the products. Share the product, share the business opportunity every day. 3 daily habits. But we're tracking it. If you're on the success team, 90-day commitment, you're tracking it. And the 3rd is personal development. So that is at least 15 minutes a day of personal growth. But let's talk about the second one. That's the second is the key. If you're not planting seeds, you're not going to have a harvest. You're not going to be on stage. So give us an idea, an example, a specific example, if you would.
So following up with prospects.
Yeah, and that's also not just planting the seeds, but following up. We track that too. Good point.
Right.
We track following up with prospects and following up with your team.
My mind is blank. Can I think a little longer?
You can. Yeah. Because you were sharing some great ones this past week. So Chelsea, so you got into San Jose, didn't know a single soul, and you made a ton of friends and built lifetime relationships, as you pointed out earlier. But what'd you do?
There's just really 2 words. It's consistency with intentionality. And actually, Chad Johnson summed it up the other night, and I was like, that's it. He says, you create the environment around you, and are you going to create it to be a success? And I realized that's what we had done. I never really had it pinpointed, the word for it, but it was our environment. What did we do? I as soon as Josh bought, I didn't want a minivan anymore. He bought me the big old black GMC Denali. I said, I'm wrapping this thing. Because that right there just lets people know that's what I do. So I put NeoLife all over my car.
Back in Atlanta.
Yeah, back in Atlanta, that's when it started. And I wish I had done it so much sooner, you guys. It just opened up doors. And honestly, I don't think I would have Shelly and Gary Lazone here as new World Team members because they saw the car. And then they saw our T-shirts. They saw, us wearing our ball caps at the park. So are you going to create an environment that only guarantees success? Right? What does that mean for you? For some people, the example we use, maybe you have children, you can't go to the gym anymore. So create an in-home gym. Then, you can't have an excuse, I can't go to the gym. If you want a Diamond NeoLife business, create everything around that. And it's just in the nooks and crannies of the day. It's just in what you're doing. I'm looking at my team here who has NeoLife on their car. Some of them make their own NeoLife T-shirts. I've done that, with the T-shirt I like. If that's what it takes, invest in something that's going to pay off, down into your children. And so for me, it was just when we moved to San Jose, I was like, I'm wrapping my car. I'm keeping the wrap. I'm wearing the T-shirts everywhere. I got T-shirts made for my children. I always have product and brochures, and I don't carry business cards because the phone, that is my biggest tool. I meet somebody, and they're, do you have a business card? And I just say, here, and I give them my phone because that shows complete trust to them, right? And I say, here, enter your phone number. What I'll do is I'll text you my number and the information, and then, what we're going to see coming out with new technology that we're able to say warm market, cold market, and just really pinpoint those.
Organize your contacts.
Organize our contacts, because I've been bad at that. But if one last thing I want to mention is creating that environment for success around us to where we have no reason to fail. That's critical. Being consistent with intentionality, but on top of that, and this is part of creating the environment, but I was sitting there, I was pregnant with my 6th child, we moved, and I didn't know anybody, and I know, I have this great opportunity. Of course, I have all my support system back in Georgia and my team there. And I was talking to Josh, I'm like, okay, we have so much going on in the evening, and we make those excuses, right? And we just kind of talk it through, and one day I don't get depressed usually, I think, because I just keep myself so busy, and when you give so much, that is your fulfillment, and that's what I want to do. I want to give to my community. But that day I was down. I never even called my mom. And I was telling my mom, I was like, I'm just trying to figure out what to do. God's given me this passion. God's given me these gifts and talents, and I don't know where to begin because I can't even do stuff in the evening. With Josh's new role, I don't have that support. And all of a sudden, it's like a light bulb went off. And for me, it was starting a weekly lunch and learn. And I know that might work for some of you moms, and maybe it doesn't because you're actually working right now, and so maybe an evening. But when I made that commitment, just like I made a commitment 12 years ago to work out 4 to 5 times a week and not miss a day, and I saw the same results. And with that example of fitness, those little tiny compound things you do add up to that huge compound effect. Those lunch and learns were what changed everything around because everybody I met, I had something going on, and I was able to invite them, and sometimes I had nobody show up. Good job. And I would get on live, and that was so neat. Nobody on my live Facebook groups knew that I didn't have anybody there. I would act like I was having a meeting, but it gave me practice. And then people were thinking, oh, she had the meeting. And it was so neat because I was able to build up to now I've stepped away from San Jose, and I look at my team there posting pictures of like 17 women at the lunch and learn and like 25 crazy kids running around. But they love it. And that's because I created an environment, and I wasn't going to give up, and I was just, even in that time of what am I going to do, it just dawned on me. And that is what gave us that huge team in San Jose. And so that's kind of what I've done, and just remember, just consistency with intentionality and create that environment for success.
Awesome. Work with what you have. I like that. Okay, Sandra, what are you doing? And I know that you'd mentioned being a grandmother and having freedom with this business. And there's seasons of life. You're getting that. You got that earlier from Leslie. She was at one season in the past, was doing a lot, but goes through different seasons, but consistently keeps the business going. So I know you've had a few seasons in the last year, but tell us about what you're doing.
Well, honestly, I don't know why I'm here. But I have this man over here that's helped me get to where I'm up here, I guess. And he's taught me well. And honestly, I went through probably the hardest year of my life this last year, just personally. And I don't know why I'm here, considering I just relied on the Lord to just get me through. And I've stayed consistent in my business, even when I felt like maybe I couldn't have, due to the year I was having. But God is so faithful, and He meets you where you're at. And even when you have your hardest year, here I am. So all I'm saying is, the way I do it, I just like to help people. And when God opens that door, I try to walk through it. And I just reach out to people and care. And that is one of the gifts that the Lord's given me, and I just more do it one-on-one. So, and then I have this incredible team under me that God self-appointed, and if it wasn't for her, Linda Burr, I probably would not be on this stage. But she is just blowing it out of the water, and she's helping me get to where I am. And then I'm just faithful plugging away so I can go along with her. So she's my downline, but if it wasn't for Louie It's just there. I invite, Josh, what you taught me, to everything that I can get people to. And Louie is a big part of making that possible. He comes into our homes, and then I invite to his functions, and I spend a lot of time inviting people. So I do spend hours on the phone or emailing or texting. And then the other thing I'm looking forward to is getting into the spa hours. I'm really going to step up this year and do it on my own.
All right.
And
All
I'm
right.
grateful for that.
Okay. Before you pass it down, though, one of the things I noticed talking to you, too, is even during the different seasons of life, you have always, let me repeat that, always shown up for every single event that your team has had. Is that right, Louie?
Right.
She's there. Now,
Right.
that's half the game is just showing up. I mean, it breaks my heart, Louie. I know it does yours, too. When we look down across organization, as I look across the company, and I see people who aren't here, who simply didn't show up, and now they're missing out on seeds they planted, like with Linda Burr, and Arlene and all these people, and they just simply aren't here.
Yeah.
I almost want to cry just to think about that.
Yeah.
And yet you're here.
Right.
And so, but you planted that seed when you met Kathy Babcock, and how many businesses can you plant seeds several years ago that still give you fruit several years later, even during tough seasons of life? You say this is a hard business? Sure, but it's also the only business I ever know that will take care of you during the hard times. So you shared it with Kathy?
I met a total stranger, and I signed her up, and then she met a total stranger, which is Linda Burr, and she signed her up, and they're all, in my one downline, and we're all sapphires.
And you met a total stranger at a church retreat, conference, whatever you want to call it, an event, right?
That was Kathy Babcock.
That was Kathy. And then Kathy meets Linda Burr at a farmer's market. Right?
Strangers.
Just
meeting
events,
strangers.
just going to stuff and talking.
And here we're all sapphires and on world team. I mean, it's just awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, that's great.
So,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, Marilee.
Yes.
What are you doing? 9 kids, okay? I hear people say things like, I'm too busy. Okay, 9 kids. We all agree that kind of keeps you busy. How old's the oldest?
Our oldest is here. He's 14.
Where is he?
Well, not in this room. He's here at convention.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw him, listening attentively.
His
In fact,
first
he
time.
got the most excited when I said, one of you are going to be an 18-year-old and are just going to kick tail and show everybody how to do this.
He really wanted
got
to be
excited.
here. He was like, I want to learn. This is great. Yeah.
Okay, so what are you doing in the midst of your busyness? What are you doing when you have those nook and crannies and opportunities?
Right. Well, I think the number one thing that we do, because we don't have a lot of intentional opportunity. Well, there's always an opportunity, right? But we don't intentionally go out and spend our time that way right now, is supporting the people that we have in our team already, to create consistency with them, to help them answer their questions, and going to all the events still. We've committed to go to all the events because we get to meet everybody, we get to see everybody, we get to hear everybody's stories, we get to relearn information, we get to meet the scientists and hear about new products, and it's just a wealth of information at the events. And our team is getting more and more confident, and they're able to, once your confidence is built, once you have a little education under your belt, I love that you pass out that stack of CDs to whoever I think that was so incredible, because that's information that builds their confidence and builds their knowledge base, so that then they can move out and answer the questions. And the other way that we've spent our time right now is answering questions. So there's a lot of people that have questions in the team. You have somebody new that signs up, or somebody that's even been in the business for a while, and there's another question that pops up. And so just being there to answer those questions. And if we don't know the answer, go find out the answer. Go seek somebody in our upline, or go find do some research or find an answer for them. And that takes time too. So those are the elements where we're able to fit it in. Yep. And the rewards have been really good.
And I like how you guys take advantage of systems and things in place. I mean, for example, your upline that has success teams. You got tons of people in success teams.
Yes. So because we don't have the time ourselves to lead a success team right now, and just that's not our season. And I think it's really important to embrace the season that you're in, especially where we're at with little ones. They require a lot of mama time and a lot of daddy time. And so we're not leading a success team, but when we have people in our team that want to build the business, we say, hey, you need to get on a success team. This is how you can really grow. This is where you get plugged in. This is where you get your information. This is where you can find the tools that you need to grow. So we're able to plug them right in. And that's been very valuable. Alan and Nicole, Chad and Janice, I know that several are on your team as well. And that's been a very big blessing.
Yep. So I share that because that's available to everyone. If your upline doesn't have one, corporate has one. But there's a lot going on in their own organization. Most of their team is on success teams that are not corporate led. And you have some that are, but yeah, awesome. Thank you. So before I go to Louie, and then after Louie, we'll come back around. No, we're going to Louie. I'm sorry. I mean, before you speak, I'll prepare you guys. The next question I'm going to ask y'all, what piece of advice would you give yourself if you were to start all over again? Or, or to somebody else who wants to get into the top 10 world team, okay? So you have a moment to think on that. But Louie, we want to hear, what are you doing? What are the biggest keys to your success?
Josh, my key is to keep it as simple as possible. In other words, I've only sponsored a handful of people since I've been in America because we got business in other countries. I just spent about 2 weeks ago, I was in Cyprus. Last week, I was in the UK. About a month and a half ago, I spent nearly a month in Africa. So we've got business all over. So our business in the USA, when I've got time for them, I just want to develop them straight down. So we've got 10 legs at this event, and I'm just burying myself in those 10 legs. I'm just taking them deeper and deeper because depth is retirement, depth is stability, depth is residual income, and I just keep working straight down in those legs. So I've actually had people come knock on my door, and I regretted today, they were wonderful people, and asked me if they could join underneath me, and I said, no, I don't have time to help you. And I said, I can put you under anybody else. These are all the friends that we both know, mutual, and they left not joining. And, I've only got so much time in the day, and I've only got so many days in the month, and all I want to do is develop solid businesses. And so my whole key is to try and aim is to try and get people to take ownership of their businesses. And to do that, I want to go into their homes, do home meetings in the home. Every home meeting, I try and do it deeper, in depth, working in those growth points of those organizations, creating solid businesses for the leaders and down in their organization. So that's what my total focus is, developing structure and depth. And I don't like going into homes, the same homes over and over, because then you're developing the people close to you, and you're making them useless, really. You want to work in a house, maximum 3 meetings, go down, 3 meetings, go down, 3 meetings, keep working down like that. And that way, each home becomes profitable because they're inviting their guests. And you see, I'm a terrible person. Maybe I don't look shy and things like that, but I can't ask for referrals. And Americans don't answer their phone. It's not like in Africa. If I get a number from you in Africa, I can pick up and say, Joan told me to phone. But in America, they just goes onto voicemail, and nobody answers the phone in this country. So to me, referrals in this country is a total waste of time. And so I don't get referrals. I gave up. The only way I get referrals is at the end of the meeting, I say, hey, would you like a home meeting in your home? Even if they've joined, it makes no difference. I'm not asking them to join. I'm asking, would you like a home meeting in your home? And I have many people who set up a home meeting, they haven't joined, just excited about educating their friends on nutrition. And we just keep going down that way. And that's how I get referrals in this country business. It's useless trying to get a phone number out of somebody. or an email address or anything out of anybody in America, you know. It just goes into their spam box or something. And I don't know, maybe you're different, but that's how they treat me. Maybe they can see I'm an African American. I don't know what it is, you know. As a matter of fact, my first language is not English, so you have to put up with me if I don't sound normal. Anyway, so yes. So Josh, that's what I do, is I've decided this next year I want to bring on another 4 or 5 people. But Josh, what I do, I try and as much as possible keep in contact with every person that I bring on. I'll give you an idea. We brought on a couple, probably the third couple we joined in America, Dan and Jeannie Johnson. They had dinner with us about 9 years ago when we came to America. And if you come to our house for dinner, you walk out as a distributor. No, it's not quite that bad. Anyway, they joined, they used the product, and then since then they've been in about 5 of the network marketing companies. And I would just keep in contact with them about once a month, just send them a positive saying, or never about the business, never push them about the business. But about 2 months ago, I sent him an email, and I said, Dan, I'm doing a meeting in 3 days' time, just around the corner from your house, about 10 blocks away. Why don't you come around? We haven't seen each other. Even if you're not interested in NeoLife, you might be interested in learning more about nutrition. He came around, and I think he's done 3,000 PV this month. And he sponsored about 12 people, and he is already 4 levels deep. And I'm doing meetings in 2 levels down underneath him. But totally, every time he'd send back, even that after that email, he sent back a text, say, I'm not interested. I'm in 2 other great companies. I'm not interested in NeoLife. And I said, well, just come around. We just visit, you know. And he came around. He's quit both other companies. And he's excited about NeoLife, right? So he should be director next month. So he'll be my next leg that's coming up. So me, I just try and develop legs. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to sponsor an ocean of people. I can't keep track of them. I can't work with them. I feel it's injustice. When Charlie taught us one thing when he joined this business, he said, the word sponsor is for a reason. He said, if you're going to get somebody going, you're sponsoring your life into them. You're not just getting a number for a recruiting challenge or a something like that. You're going to invest your life into those people. And at the moment, I can't do much more than 10 legs in America. It's the maximum I can do.
Wow. Is this good? Okay. Let me ask Louie another question. Will you teach us something about, when I look at your calendar, like you're not just walking out of here like, oh, I'm gonna do some events next month, right? There's a lot of people well-intentioned, like I've been in the past, that say, oh, I'm all fired up. Yeah, sure, we'll do shake and learns. There's a difference in saying you're gonna do it, no matter how serious and honest you are in saying it, and the way you do it. I guarantee you, if we look at your calendar, I've seen it, it's already booked out. Can you give us a couple of tips on that, the difference between wanting to and doing it?
My calendar is booked out for the next 3 months. Basically, I don't think I've got a date open in the next 3 months. Is that you try to get a date out of me about a month ago, and we eventually, or 2 months, so we're coming up to your house now in a few weeks' time. So I'm very specific when I give out people dates. I give each leader that I'm working with about 2 dates in a month in their leg. And if they use me in their house and not in their downline's house, they stop getting dates from me. Because I'm very specific. I want it in their house maximum 3 times, then into the growth point, then into the growth point. So if you stop getting dates from me, if you're my team, it's because you keep using them in your house, right? Because as long as you use them in your house, I'm helping you, but I'm destroying your business. You see, for you to become profitable, you need your people profitable. For you to make money out of this, you have to get your people making money out of it, long term. Otherwise, it's going to grow, and it's going to be like this for the rest of your life. Same sort of level, up and down, like glucose balance, okay,
Before glucose balance.
Yeah, before glucose balance. Now glucose balance is totally straight. Right? But you want to keep working those growth points. So there's a few things there, Josh. So number one is I do roughly about 20 meetings a month. That's what my target is. And that means, people say that's a lot of meetings. No, come on. 2 hours a day for about 17 days. How do you get 20 meetings out of 17? But on a normal Saturday, I do 2 to 3. So that way, a Saturday is 3 days of the week. So that I don't even have to do 17. I can do 15 days and get my 20 days out in the month. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it must be in a growth point, because I know a few things. If it's not in a growth point, I'm going to come to an empty meeting. And that irritates me because my time is valuable. I don't mind going, if it's in a growth point, it's empty, but if it's to the same leader's house 10 times, and it's empty, that really irritates me. They're not respecting my time, and they're not teachable because they're not learning what I'm saying. I'm saying take it into a growth point. New blood is the key to this business. And so I give out the times well in advance to people, the dates, and they give them back to me. I allocate dates. I look around the website. And if I don't get a response from them, I give their date away to somebody else. And then I get a desperate phone call from the leader. Oh, that date suddenly vanished. It's gone somewhere else. I say, you never came back to me. If you wanted it, you would have come back to me. So I've got quite a few sad people that had a room full of people coming, but they never gave me the address confirmation, and they lost the date to somebody else. Now they must wait 3 months for the next date that will come up for their organization. So that way I'm weeding people. I can only do what's humanly possible. And I also try and work areas. Like I'll work Southern California for so many days, stay in a hotel there. Then I'll go to Northern California, and then I'll fly to Florida for so many days, 2 or 3 times a year. And I'll go to Central USA 2 or 3 times a year. Because our business is wearing me pretty thin because it's popping up all over. It's a good problem to have, but it's popping up all across America, which is from Texas to South Carolina to North Carolina to all over. It's really exciting.
And around the world.
And around the world, yes, very exciting.
I wish that I had heard what Louie just shared when I first got started in the business. It was a long, long time before Louie that I really understood. I always would have nodded and been like, yeah, build deep. Yeah, build. And I had 5 levels of directors deep. So, I had some of this, but I really didn't get what you're saying about going down deep and working those growth points. And so I really appreciate you teaching that concept, and that's where Chelsea followed your advice, and we had multiple levels of directors deep, and that's been key. So I hope everybody is really taking it in.
Yeah, that's the only way we got 8 world team legs in America in about 6 years. And remember, our first year in America, we couldn't sponsor one person, not one person in the USA in our first year. So that was really in about 5 years, we got 8 world team legs in America. They just suddenly came through. It was about working depth, and a lot of those world team today are rubies, which is really exciting.
Wow. Okay, let's go back through, and I want to ask you guys, what is the one thing you would tell yourself if you were starting all over? You can look at it that way, or you can look at telling someone out in the room that wants to get up here, but same thing.
Well, I have to go back to Louie because he finally got that concept into my head. And yes, we had 1,000 people this way and nothing down. And most of them are gone. And so now we're stacking people under our kids. If it's a guy, we'll sign him up under Daniel. If it's someone at Lisa and Roberto's church that knows Teresa, we'll put him in Teresa, because it's Krista, Lisa, Teresa, Daniel. And
you're connecting people who are in circles.
Yes, because you said don't just put strangers in their teams. And I'm going, oh, that's really good advice. And then, so you remember that young man out on our porch when you came and did that first meeting 3-4 years ago, and you spent a lot of time with him, and he never signed up? All of a sudden, he gets hold of Daniel on Facebook 2 months ago and says, I have some money now. I'm ready to get started.
Wow, I do remember that. Tell him congratulations
and
he
welcome. Got on auto ship and he just went through Daniel and just did it. Yeah. So, our 2 older daughters are 2 different teams, and Tanya's lamenting that we didn't know that back then. And you got little kids and big kids, and you know how it goes. Anyway, so what we're doing from now on, and just kind of not looking back and regretting, is building those legs and letting everybody push everybody else up, and they're so excited about it. It's really great, especially to work with her family. But we've also got our Canadian leg going, and if there's somebody that they have met, because there's a music one and there's the one from when we did an event at a church, and those people didn't know each other. But if there's someone that they work with, then we'll sign them up under them. And so I have to say, our family does. Our 3 youngest kids do music for a living, so they're traveling all around, and they just went to. They finally got booked in Branson. Took about 10 years. The Boers, hi Gabe, were even calling the guy and saying, "You got to hire." His mom was calling, "You got to hire these people," and they finally did it because Daniel went to Las Vegas and was in a booth at the International Association of Events and Fairs. And he saw Silver Dollar City go by, and he jumped up and started talking. Those people never even heard them play, and we got booked 5 days in June and 19 days in October. Okay, so they did the June, and they got someone going. They visited someone in Dallas that they're working on. They talked to someone in Branson, and then they drove to Virginia to record on another young artist's CD. And that mom, Teresa, gave her a shake sample, and she wants to sign up. And they live in a 10,000 square foot house. And then I'm going, my eyes are getting big. Wow, they can afford it. So it's made, our life is, we can do this business anywhere. Just travel all over. We got people signed up in Australia, and when we did a lot of singing things up in Canada until the exchange rate got so bad. And nobody in British Columbia had ever heard of NeoLife, and they weren't like Americans. They were so interested. And so that was pretty, even though their prices are so much higher, that, there's people are getting well and seeing a vision of a business and stuff. So does that tell you enough?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you. Building it everywhere. That's awesome. So, honey, what piece of advice would you give yourself if you're starting all over again?
Well, I just have to reiterate what he taught me, because like you, I was wide but not depth. And now what I've seen what that does, I am so ready to go back and work with, especially you two ladies sit right there, and just go deep, deep, deep. And that's huge. But I'll add one more thing, is I wish that I had really realized that God has not given us a spirit of fear, that he's given us a spirit of power, love, and self-control. We are, as a Jesus follower, and I know many of you in here are, so you can understand this, we are supposed to be the salt and the light. And I let my introverted self miss out on so many opportunities. And I see all the lives that's been changed once I let that change. And so I still have to fight it. I still have to fight that. And some people think it's take my quiet spirit, well, you guys don't know me as quiet anymore, but they took my quiet spirit as, I didn't care. But inside, you care so much, but you let that fear come in. Don't ever do that, you guys, because people are like you. We fear everything. And if we are the ones who step up and we light up the room and we're the salt and the light, we will change the world. We really will. And I want to see that over and over in all of our lives. I just see these people out here, and I've seen it happen. I've seen people go from anxiety, from depression, to now the complete opposite. And that is the opportunity we have with this business. And so don't ever let that spirit of fear come and be that wall. All of us can change lives in here, just one at a time.
Are we finished?
No, we're going to take two more. We're going to take 3 more minutes, and they're standing right there. They'll come in as soon as we finish.
So honestly, I just reiterate this building down. And so I that's what Louie teaches us, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. And I'm helping my team just get people under them, and that's my purpose.
All right, good.
Yeah. That's extremely valuable, definitely. We're definitely not recruiting a lot right now. I'm just working with our team, which is awesome. I guess one more thing I would mention is to learn, to have a spirit of learning, and just to seek answers and information, because the more you learn, the more confident you get, and the less fear you have, and the more excited you become, and your passion and your confidence is contagious. So that would just be a underlying. If I were to do it all over again, I wouldn't be as shy as I was either. So shy, didn't know what to ask, don't even want to ask any questions, but just ask away, learn. Yeah,
that's good. Louie.
All right. I've got two. Sorry, Josh, there's two. Number one is get people to every event humanly possible. Get people to every event. I'll give you one quick example. Distributor I was back in Africa told me one day he couldn't get to a company event. I told him to bring his kit back, I'll refund him. And he was a director. He said, what you mean? I said, I don't want people in my business going out bad-mouthing it in the community, saying the business doesn't work. The only thing that's not working is you don't know what you're doing, and you're just going to make our business bad. Give me the kit back. When you're serious, I'll give you a kit back, and you can pay me again. Well, he came to the event, and he went sapphire. So that was the first thing, right? The second thing over here, Charlie always taught us, go 12 wide as quickly as possible. Step one. Step two, choose your 4 best people and take them down as quickly as possible, trying to do 1 level a month for 12 months in a row. And when they're 12 levels deep, they'll be a director, and you should have 12 directors. Thank you.
Wow. Let's give it up for our panel. Thank you so much. Thank you.